Here is the full Jessica Oppre style speech for the title. You'll never unlock a woman's deepest desire through explanation. Desire doesn't live in her logic. It lives in her imagination. She doesn't crave checklists. She doesn't melt from hearing facts. She responds to what pulls her in, not what lays it all out. When you try to convince her, she evaluates. When you create mystery, she fantasizes. And the moment she starts imagining you alone in silence, playing out conversations and scenes that never actually happened, that's when you've already begun to live in her mind. Because here's what most miss. A woman's attraction builds in absence, not in overexposure. It's not about being predictable. It's about being felt even when you're not around. The way you speak with layers. The way your presence says more than your words ever could. The way your energy leaves question marks in all the right places, and suddenly she's the one replaying your presence in her mind like a song she didn't know she loved. When she's laying in bed not thinking about what you said, but feeling something stirring, something she can't quite explain, that's not logic. That's her imagination writing you in. It's the pause before the kiss, the brush of fingertips without a grip. The moment you hold eye contact just long enough to spark curiosity, but not long enough to give it all away. And that's the moment she goes quiet, not because she's uninterested, but because she's somewhere else. Somewhere in her mind words are easy. Anyone can rehearse them, memorize them, repeat them, but energy cannot lie. A woman may hear your words, but she feels your energy before you ever open your mouth. Before the first sentence, before the smile, before the conversation begins. She already knows, not because she's psychic, but because she's tuned in. She reads presence the way others read text. She picks up the pauses, the posture, the pulse of the moment. And it's not about saying the right thing, it's about being the right energy, calm without being cold, strong without trying too hard, relaxed, not rushed, present, not performative. You can tell her she's beautiful 100 times. But if your energy says you're unsure, anxious, or seeking validation, it lands flat. Now take a man who says very little but looks at her like she's the only woman in the room, like time just slowed down in her presence. And suddenly she feels it, in her chest, in her stomach, between her legs, because energy doesn't need permission. It moves beneath the surface. It lingers long after the conversation ends. And it doesn't shout, it radiates. That's why some men talk all night and are forgotten by morning, and others say one thing, one simple thing, and she's still thinking about it hours later. Not because of the words, but because of the weight behind them. A woman's body responds to tone, tension, tempo, not titles or tactics. And when your energy is right, grounded, certain, unapologetic, she doesn't want more words. She wants more presence. Women don't just respond to actions. They respond to atmosphere. They feel the shift in energy before they ever feel a touch. And the ones who truly captivate them aren't the ones trying to control the moment. They're the ones who lead the mood. The moment is fleeting. It's loud. It demands attention. But the mood, it's subtle. It's magnetic. It shapes everything from the tone of your voice to the rhythm of your breath. Women don't want a man who's chasing the next move. They want a man who's in tune with the room, with the moment. With her, when you lead the mood, you create space for her to feel, to drop the mask, to soften, surrender, lean in, without being told to. You're not rushing to get to the next point, the next kiss, the next line. You're guiding the vibe like a slow-burning song that makes her lose track of time. Sometimes it's playful, teasing, unpredictable. Other times it's still heavy, slow, like your energy is wrapping around her without even touching her. And here's the thing most don't understand. Women crave emotional rhythm. They don't want to be carried. They want to dance. And when you set the tempo with intention, with presence, with just enough unpredictability to keep her curious, she follows. Not because she's being led, but because she's being invited. There's a difference between moving fast and moving deep. When you lead the mood, she doesn't just experience you, she feels herself more deeply in your presence. Her own femininity wakes up. Her body becomes more aware. Her mind quiets. And in that space, the space where you're not pushing, not rushing, not performing, but simply holding the energy steady, if you think foreplay starts with a touch, you've already missed the point. For a woman, real foreplay starts in the space between the words. It's in the air before anything physical ever happens. It's the look that lasts just a second too long. The silence that suddenly feels louder than speech. The moment when her body leans in even though neither of you moved. Unspoken tension is where true desire lives. It's not about being passive. It's about being intentional. It's not about doing less. It's about letting less say more. Women don't need to be told what's going to happen. They want to feel the build-up, slow, thick, unspoken. Let their mind fill in the blanks. Let their body respond to the suspense. This kind of tension isn't awkward. It's electric. It's created when you're not trying to close the gap, but when you're fully comfortable inside the space of it. You don't rush in to break the silence. You let the silence work for you. You let the atmosphere do the seduction. She notices when your hand brushes hers and you don't immediately grab it. She feels it when your face is close, but you don't kiss her right away. You pause. You hold. You let the moment stretch until her breath catches and her mind starts to race. Because it's not the kiss that makes her crave you, it's the second right before the kiss, that stillness, that ache, that pull. It's not about taking her clothes off. It's about making her want to peel back her guard. And that only happens when she's drenched in anticipation, not of what you'll do, but when you'll finally do it. And if unspoken tension leaves room for mystery, and mystery is oxygen to feminine desire. She doesn't want the whole story up front. She wants to be invited to keep turning pages, each one revealing just enough to make her crave the next. So you don't speak it. You don't spell it out. You hold it. You live inside the tension like it's home, and she'll meet you there. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't try to convince, doesn't perform, doesn't chase. And that is the kind of confidence women feel in their nervous system before they even register why. It's the energy of a man who's not trying to be chosen, but who already knows his worth without needing validation. He doesn't chase not because he's playing hard to get, but because he isn't running anywhere. He's already grounded in who he is. He doesn't flinch when she pulls back. He doesn't panic when she goes quiet. He stays where he is, and that stillness, that unbothered masculine calm, it's intoxicating. You see, when a man chases, he's placing her on a pedestal. He's moving from a place of lack. He's trying to prove something, and women feel that. Even if the words sound smooth, the energy behind them reveals the truth. She senses when you're trying to earn her, and she senses when you're simply offering presence. No strings, no begging, no pressure. That kind of confidence is quiet. It doesn't yell. It doesn't seek approval. It walks into a room and changes the dynamic without saying a word. And she feels it. She feels the difference between a man who needs her attention and a man who doesn't need anything but would enjoy her company. And that subtle difference, that gap between need and desire, that's where the craving is born, because nothing draws a woman closer than the man who's closed to himself, who doesn't chase because he already knows. He's the one she'll feel long after he leaves. No games. No tricks, just the kind of internal power that doesn't flinch, that doesn't shift when she tests, that doesn't react when she pulls away, because he's not afraid to lose her. He's too secure within himself to panic. And that kind of unwavering energy makes her curious. It makes her watch. It makes her wonder what it would feel like to be near that, to be claimed by something that isn't grasping, but standing firm. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he doesn't cling, and when there's no chase